Super Bowl on Sunday, the Patriots and the Falcons. We thought we'd talk a little, well, the most important thing when it comes to the Super Bowl, and that, of course, is the TV commercials. We all know that. And Professor Abhi Biswas joins us right now from UTD. He's a professor of marketing over in the School of Management there, and an expert in advertising and brand management, consumer behavior. Let's start with this, just to kind of get us started. How much does it cost this year to advertise in the Super Bowl?
This year it's at the highest ever. It's about $5 million for just a 30-second spot, and some of these can go up to about $5.5 million. 30 seconds.
Can they get their return on that? I mean, have we been able to prove that it's a good investment, essentially?
You know, that's one of the most controversial topics in the so-called $5 million questions, because some of the advertisers claim that they do, because they say that some of these ads actually pay for themselves even before they air nowadays, Brian, because of the huge media blitz that they support it with for about a week leading up to the Super Bowl by pre-releasing them. And that's how most of these brands get more than the money's worth, because they're actually leading up to the Super Bowl with about an extra $1 million of media blitz and YouTube hits and shares and social media campaigns leading up to it. So there have been quite a few brands that have said over and over again that they would do it every single time, and that's the reason why Budweiser's and the Pepsis and the Cokes and the car companies have been doing it year after year after year, because they're convinced that it's more than giving them their bang for their advertising buck.
I was thinking about some of the great ones over the years, and there have been some good ones. The Coca-Cola Mean Joe Green one kind of stands out. You had the was it Volkswagen that did the Force with the little guy, the little lightsaber guy, Darth Vader. Terry Tate, the office linebacker. What stands out for you? What are some of the greatest of all time for you?
Well, the couple that you mentioned absolutely are up there, supposedly in the top 5 all-time of Super Bowl ads over the last 50 years. The one that you're talking about with Mean Joe Green,
yep,
that's considered the #1 Super Bowl commercial of all time, with a little kid throws the jersey to Mean Joe, and Mean Joe tosses him the little Coke bottle and says, "You can have it, kid." and then the other one, which you mentioned, is considered one of the top 5, which in 2011, Volkswagen actually released the Force, and they released it 4 days in advance of the Super Bowl, and by Thursday, they released it Wednesday morning, and by Thursday, they had 1.7 million hits, and by the time the Super Bowl came around and the actual Volkswagen Passat ad was aired, it had already racked up 17 million views, and as of today, it is, even as we speak, the highest seen, or the greatest number of views of any Super Bowl commercial of all time.
Wow.
And it was the one with a little Darth Vader kid with a Force, and you really, Brian, it had all the elements of a successful commercial. You've got to love a little kid. It had the Star Wars theme,
mm-hmm,
which absolutely resonated with the baby boomers, and it had a little, the bit about the dad playing with the remote.
Yep.
And doing the instant magic for the child. Who hasn't done that?
It's fun. It was a fun ad. I want to talk about what we're going to see this year after we check traffic. Professor Abhi Biswas is with us right now. Let's check. Professor Abhi Biswas is with us right now from UT Dallas. We're talking Super Bowl commercials. Let's talk this year. What sells better, sex or funny?
Well, that's a really difficult one. They use both, but I think a lot of companies that are really doing well are the ones that are managing to combine both. They're actually having a cake and eating it too by trying to use sex and fun both at the same time. GoDaddy.com has been brilliant at doing that by creating buzz and conversation and making things go viral by combining both those elements. They say that there are 2 things that sell the best when it comes to advertising: sex and fear, and now the third element of the tripod has been added during Super Bowl. That's humor and fun.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I wonder if this year folks will be afraid of the political culture and climate that we're in to have a real political overtone to their ads, or will we see that?
Well, we already are seeing that. we already are. Actually, two of the ads that have already been released. Actually, one of them was rejected by Fox, by 84 Lumber, which is a Pennsylvania-based building supplies company, and they submitted an ad which was rejected by Fox, and now, as of this morning, they've released a preview of an ad that that they say they will show just before the halftime of the game. And the reason why it's so controversial is, and they claim that Fox rejected their initial submission because it had the depiction of a Mexican family trying to climb over, I should say, the depiction of a wall to get employment in the U.S. with 84 Lumber. It's supposed to be an inspiring story, but they claim that Fox rejected it, and they say they've had to submit a revised version. Now, if they did this intentionally to create and generate buzz and conversation, then mission accomplished. People are talking about 84 Lumber.
Wow. Okay. So we will see some with a political overtone during this Super Bowl then tomorrow or Sunday.
Well, I have to add the one that's actually getting the most buzz is the answer is yes, and the one that's getting the most buzz is Budweiser, the king of advertisers during the Super Bowl for the last 40 years, and they've submitted what many are considering a very highly charged ad, which is an inspiring, epic, stylized piece about a German immigrant coming to the USA with people shouting, with unruly crowd shouting, "Go back, we don't want you here." And it turns out that at the end of the 60-second documentary spot that they're going to show, it's actually their founder, Adolphus Busch, who then goes on to create what is considered the greatest iconic beer, which is the American beer, Budweiser. And people are saying that that's where Budweiser may be walking the tightrope during this politically charged environment.
All right, good deal. Thank you. This is going to be interesting to see.